Nearly 3 years. That's how long we waited for new episodes of Wednesday Addams, 3 years for just 4 episodes in part 1 of season 2. And yet, within minutes of pressing play, all that irritation melted away. Because this season, it's sharper, darker, and far more dangerous than anything we've seen before. And the danger is no longer lurking in the shadows. It's aimed directly at the one person Wednesday would do anything to protect, Enid Sinclair. From the very first episode, the season makes it clear this isn't just another mystery of the week at Nevermore. We're in the middle of a tangled web of visions, betrayals, revenge plots, and one of the most disturbing underground operations in Jericho's history. By the time we hit the end of episode 4, the chessboard is completely overturned. Tyler's on the run, deadly crows are circling, and Wednesday herself is powerless and in freefall, literally. Today, we're breaking down exactly what happened, the chain of events that led us here, and where this story is most likely heading in part 2. It starts with a question that's been gnawing at viewers since episode 1. Who's been stalking Wednesday, and why do they have control over an army of killer crows? These aren't just creepy birds hanging around for atmosphere. These crows are assassins. They killed Sheriff Galpin. They killed his private investigator friend, Carl Bradbury, and they were there in Wednesday's disturbing vision of Enid's grave, circling like an omen. Early in the season, suspicion naturally landed on a couple of obvious suspects. Dr. Fairburn seemed shady enough. Miss Capri, the new music teacher, also gave off suspicious vibes. But neither of them was the real threat. The truth turned out to be far stranger and more personal to Nevermore's past. The stalker is the daughter of Augustus Stonehurst, a science teacher who once worked at Nevermore. She appears early on, almost innocuous, working as the receptionist at Willow Hill. But that's just her cover. In reality, she's the leader of something called L.O.I.S, the Long-Term Outcast Integration Society. Sounds harmless enough, right? Wrong. This society is essentially an underground lab designed to push outcasts beyond their natural abilities, breaking them down physically and mentally until they either evolve or die. She was born a normie, but her father subjected her to brutal training and experimentation until she gained a rare ability: control over birds. Not in the casual Snow White way, in the deadly, send them to rip you apart way. She became what's known as an Aven. And the crows? They're not just her pets. They're her weapons. The murders of Galpin and Bradbury weren't random. Both men were getting too close to uncovering the truth about what was happening beneath Willow Hill. And those dead outcasts listed in the bullpen, they weren't dead at all. They were abducted and forced into experiments just like she endured. All of it happening right under Jericho's nose. When Wednesday came sniffing around, she became the next target. And she might have stayed safe if she'd walked away. But that's not who Wednesday is. She pushed deeper into the mystery, and that's when everything spiraled out of control. The power at Willow Hill went down, the security systems shut off, and every single one of those imprisoned outcasts was suddenly free. That project she'd been building for years, completely ruined. And that's exactly why she's now more motivated than ever to come for Wednesday. This brings us to the vision. Enid's grave, the crows, the chilling accusation that it was all Wednesday's fault. And if you map out the chain of events, it's hard to argue. By forcing her way into Willow Hill, Wednesday indirectly caused Tyler's release. Tyler, who has every reason to hate her, every reason to go after the people she loves. He's been simmering with resentment since their battle in season 1. So when he told Wednesday to say hi to Enid, that wasn't a friendly message. That was a death threat. And then there's Slurp, arguably the creepiest addition to Wednesday's rogues gallery so far. His story starts decades ago, back when he was a gifted student at Nevermore with a fatal heart condition. He built himself a clockwork heart, a feat of genius, but it changed him, stripped him of warmth, of humanity, leaving only ambition. That ambition eventually got him killed, his body buried in an unmarked grave beneath the skull tree. It should have ended there. But one night, Pugsley, of all people, ended up at that tree after hearing the legend. A jolt of lightning, a moment of shock, and Slurp was back. At first, he was just a mindless, shambling figure. But Slurp has a way of upgrading himself. The more people he consumes, the more human he becomes. By the end of episode 4, he's advanced enough to speak, his first words directed at Augustus Stonehurst himself. "Hello, old friend." Then he kills him without hesitation. If the teasers for part 2 are any indication, Slurp isn't finished. He's evolving, fast, and every kill makes him more dangerous. Meanwhile, Principal Barry Dort's mask of respectability is cracking. On the surface, he's the devoted headmaster who just wants to save Nevermore. But in reality, he's not above manipulation, pressuring Bianca to use her siren powers on Morticia Addams to coax a massive donation from her mother. That alone was shady enough. But when we overhear him on the phone in the finale, saying, "Everything is going according to plan," it raises a whole new set of questions. Is he planning to pocket some of that donation money? Redirect it for something else entirely? Bianca and Ajax seem convinced something's off. And so am I. When you step back, Part 1 is a tightly wound 4-episode sprint that manages to set up at least 6 major plot threads for the second half. Pugsley's expanded role has been a welcome surprise. He's got genuine comic timing, and those flashes of Fester's lightning powers hint at something bigger for him down the road. The friendship between Wednesday and Enid is fraying badly, not because Wednesday doesn't care, but because she cares too much and can't say it outright. Tyler remains a walking time bomb, more lethal than ever now that he's free. And that scene where he murders Thornhill? Absolutely chilling, especially given the lore that hides never kill their masters. Tyler's made it clear. He doesn't care about rules anymore. Not every moment landed perfectly. Episode 3's camp storyline felt like filler, serving mainly to introduce the bullpen subplot. But those weaker beats are easy to forgive when you've got Jenna Ortega delivering yet another flawless performance. The way she embodies Wednesday's sharp, deadpan darkness is unmatched. Her loss of powers and the vulnerability it creates is a fascinating twist, especially since it's likely what left her vulnerable enough to end up thrown out of that window. And now, as Jericho teeters on the edge of chaos, every major player is in motion. Tyler hunting for revenge, Slurp growing stronger, the stalker closing in, and Wednesday herself standing at the center of a storm she may have unleashed. So what do you think? Is the vision of Enid's death a prophecy that can't be stopped, or is there still a way out? And if there is, what's the price Wednesday will have to pay to save her? We'll find out soon enough when Part 2 finally drops. Until then, all we can do is speculate. And maybe keep an eye on the crows.